Hello there, my name's Steve, and you are listening and tuned into the Go Football podcast. So this is the podcast that talks all about grassroots football, whether you are a parent, player, coach, referee, just got a love for the game, sit tight, you're in the right place. So this week we are going to do something which many of you will have also experienced this weekend. Grassroots football is back. So this one is all going to be about the first week of grassroots football and grassroots football back. So let's cue the whistle. Let's get into it. So everyone then, the boots are laced, the pitches are marked out, it's been a long summer, we've had friendlies, we've had tournaments, there's been trials, preparation. Grassroots football, though, officially returned this weekend. Many of you will also have been out on the pitch. Hopefully it's been nice weather for you all as well, because we always know what the weather is like in this country. So, but we're all ready for another season as well. The 25-26 season has started. Everyone's going to be excited for this as well. Like I say, whether or not you're a coach, a parent, a player, referee, the buzz of the game is going to be back, and it is going to be back for the next few months. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's just think about grassroots football. Let's go right the way into it. Let's have a look at this then. So grassroots football is nothing quite like it, is there? Smell of fresh kit, there's nerves before the game, the referees are ready and they've all got new socks, new whistles, they've got their new shirts on too. There's parents on the touchline, players are buzzing, it's exciting, we're all ready to kick off, been waiting for this for a few months now. So, look, this is the time that we always like. And I always find that September is probably one of the best months for grassroots football. One, because everyone's got loads of energy. So I love that. I love the fact that it's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's about the right kind of weather that we want to be playing in, whether or not you're also watching as a parent on the sideline, coach on the sideline, or unless you want to get one of those massive Arsene Wenger jackets, or one that Fergie used to wear back in the 90s. Standing on the sideline, it's not too cold for you as well. Players, really, really good. Although let me just give you a couple of experiences I had the weekend then. So my under 14 boys went, we had to travel a 100-mile round trip for us to go and play in the JPL. Great game there. I really enjoyed that, although I've still got to watch the footage back on it just to see what we need to make improvements on there and see what we're going to take into our next training sessions. And then, on the Sunday as well, 3 games for me as well, refereeing all of them. So, first, lovely little under 10s game first as well. So, under 10s game, always love those kind of smaller sided games. Plus, it was a 9 o'clock kickoff. So, you don't want to be running around for 90 minutes with under 17s at that time of the morning as well. So, really nice game, really pleasant. Nothing to really report on that, really. I'm not going to mention the teams as well, but it's 1-1 there. Then over to Seagrave, which is in Leicester as well. It's where Leicester City's academy is. So I went over there. Under 13s game there. And then in the afternoon, under 17s game as well, which again, fairly eventless. Actually I say fairly eventless as well. The game at Leicester as well. It was Leicester-Watford. That was a great game there. Again, one thing that I find from there as well, parents, very much like you would expect parents to be, really clapping, encouraging, nothing negative shouted on or anything like that. And also the under 10s exactly the same, really. Loads of encouragement going on, which was great to see from both teams as well. Under 17s game, a little bit of an incident in there as well. 2 lads, 50-50 challenge as well. Ball hits one in the head, hits the other in the head, bounces straight back into the face of the first player as well, knocks his teeth out. So, 6-minute stop there, but 6-minute stop, not for anything of the major, or we were just looking for his teeth on the pitch. So, that's what happens in grassroots football sometimes, especially with these older age groups as well, where they're able to get the ball from side to side very quickly. They're able to move it forwards. You're always running all over the place with these guys as well. So, it's very good. But, grassroots football, it's not always about the results. So, well done if you did win. Well done if you didn't win too, just for competing. It's about new beginnings. Grassroots football is all about the new beginnings for this time of season. This is why I love this time of year for it. Probably more so than when EFL and Premier League also kick off. But, for some players, this is going to be their first ever season of competitive football. For some, it might be their first games of, when we talk competitive as well, it might be their first time of ever playing a team that isn't their friends, where they're wearing different colours and they're turning up to an actual game. But for some, it could be their first 7-a-side game, first 9-a-side and playing with offsides. It could be the first 11-a-side game. It could be the first time they're going into a competitive where the results are going to be published and all those things. There's lots of different ways to win. at grassroots football, whether or not you are going to be chasing trophies this season, whether or not you are just looking at developing players, whether or not you're just looking at letting people play and have fun, they're all wins for grassroots football. I mean, for coaches, they've been working really hard. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode about super coaches as well, they've done loads of planning through the summer. They've been looking at things like recruitment. They've been trying to get the right balance with practices and drills and friendlies and team bonding. In fact, story a little bit later on as well from someone who has emailed in again, which is great. Just talking about their experiences too. So, now it's time to put all of those things into action and let's kick off the seasons. Now, I am thinking of doing a little mini series as well, where I'm going to take a few leagues and I'm actually going to read the scores out and also the league tables as well. So if you're one of those teams that want me to do that, and it'll be on probably just on my TikTok page, really. Might just pop it on there, maybe put it onto Instagram as well, something like that. Let us know if you want it to be your league that we follow all the way through. So, I mean, let's be real about grassroots football. Yes, it's really nice at the moment as well. There's not too much rain. The weather's fairly nice and stuff like that. But let's just say that grassroots football, even though we've started and it's nice for a lot of people as well, it's a bumpy road ahead. It's a bumpy road ahead for the next few months as well. Well, I say few months as well. We're supposed to finish some of these seasons. Some leagues are supposed to finish around February, March with the amount of teams they've got. But we know that's not going to happen as well. So, fixtures, they don't always go smoothly. Sometimes not enough players available. People have other things on. Remember, these are not professionals. They're not paid to turn up every single week at of an under 11s, under 12s, under 13s game or anything like that. Referees, they're in short supply too. I know I've done a few podcasts on referees too, but they are in short supply. In fact, so much so that some games that I know of this weekend were kicked off late for that reason too. So, but, be nice to them as well. We're going to hear that all of a sudden we're going to hear football mums and dads as well. You're going to get your voices back, hopefully for better, not for worse this time. But, like I've just mentioned there, the British weather is definitely going to play a part in this season. It always does. We see flooded out pitches. We see frozen pitches. We see delays to games and postponements, more often than not. Okay, so you're probably going to get a couple of those. But do we love grassroots football? Absolutely. Does it always bring us a challenge? Absolutely. Are the challenges what make it a good community of football in your areas? I think it does. Like say, coaches, parents, volunteers, you're the ones that keep everything alive for grassroots football on a weekly basis. And I'm sure that all the preparation that you've done has firmly paid off. You've had the first weekend, whether or not you were excited or maybe dreading it a little bit just because you thought something may go wrong. Not enough pictures, referees not turning up, the emails not going out correctly, people not quite ready back to school yet, and all the rest of it that goes along there too. So, absolutely, things are not going to be plain sailing all the way through at all. And that's just one of those things that you're going to get. Okay. And sometimes you just got to understand it. You'll understand that you'll wake up in the morning sometimes at 9 o'clock in the morning for an 11 o'clock kickoff, and you'll see that WhatsApp saying pitch frozen, flooded pitch, not enough players, game called off, or whatever it is. I mean, if you are one of those volunteers, though, I'm going to do an episode on this in a couple of weeks. I'm going to do the episode on running the line as well. So just for parents and volunteers running the line. I've had to run the line a couple of times recently. I ran the line for a under-19s FA Cup game 2 weeks ago. Absolutely great. Now, this is one thing that I found from that game, by the way. I track via my watch. I use Ref6, and it's not an advert for them, by the way, but I do like the app. And if they want to give me another full subscription, that'd be great. But I use Ref6, and that tracks my steps, my miles. It tracks everything for me, really. I was running the line. I cannot believe 7.5 kilometres I ran on the line that one night. Yes, it was 90 minutes. But to run 7.5 kilometres, sometimes I don't even get 7.5 kilometres when I'm reffing in the game. I checked yesterday as well. I did 5.2k in the game, in the last game that I did as well. Not over the 3. Couldn't believe it as well. Like the amount of miles I was clocking up running the line. It's really, really hard work. So yeah, I'm just going to do a quick episode just on that, or just add some bits in. So let us know if you are one of those people that often runs the line, and let's talk about a few of those. So, but let's just give a couple of reminders out. Some things that we want to keep in grassroots football as we want to start the season good. We want to carry it on all the way through. So for coaches, make sure that your sessions, just keep them fun, keep them engaging. Don't overload them with pressure and things like that. It's definitely not what they need. In fact, I did see this weekend I said that most parents were good. Actually, there was one parent who was more vocal than not about play well, otherwise I'll take you off and I'll take you home. It's not what you need in the game as well. So yeah, don't overload players with pressure or anything like that. Really focus on development as well. It's not just about results. Yes, everyone wants to chase trophies. Everyone wants to win the cups. They want to win the leagues. They want to win all of these things. Absolutely. Look, I understand that. Like, no one turns up for a game of anything competitive, whether that is badminton, football, netball, or even 10-pin bowling as well. When you go with your friends, you still want to be the winner, right? Okay, so everyone gets that. But I also think that for coaches as well, just communicate with parents really clearly, set the expectations out. I always find that if I send a message out really early on of the expectations for the season, it works really well for the parents. And just let everyone know what the roles are going to be. If you need to have rotating people that are going to be running the line and some volunteers to set things up like respect ropes and goals and things like that, just set those expectations up that home games, you need to be there like 40 minutes before. So we've got 10 minutes to set those things up or start getting them out. And as a coach, you might want to go and warm them up. I think that's really important. For parents, what do we want to continue doing? Obviously supporting your child, but also supporting the other child or the other children that are also on the pitch. I think that's really good. I mean, sometimes parents, look with your kids, obviously you don't want them to make mistakes, you don't want them to do anything wrong as well, but sometimes they're making mistakes is the best way for them to learn, so that they're not going to continue making those mistakes over and over again. Sorry about this. Really dry throat there for some reason. Okay, so but yeah, again, just make sure that you're letting them play, letting them make mistakes. If they make mistakes, sometimes they will flourish the next time. And you know what? Sometimes they won't get better at what they're doing unless they practice doing it. And sometimes that includes getting it wrong, not getting it right, making a mistake. And you know what? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Okay, they make a mistake as a defender. They try to go past the forward. They try to play past it. They make a bad pass, whatever it is, and the team score a goal. None of them are going to write that down on their CV. None of them are going to think about it in 10 years' time or even a year's time. In fact, for some of the younger age groups, they've forgotten about it before you even get in the car. So, but the other thing for parents as well is just remember also the officials that turn up, referees, please respect them. They're learning too. They're not at Premier League quality. They don't have VAR. They're not able to go back and look over decisions from 5 different angles and all the rest of it. They're not able to do that. So just be nice to them. And also think if they're wearing a band on their arm, and I think most of them are going to be wearing red bands this year. But if they're wearing a red band, then they're also a child. Don't be shouting at children, referees. Let them do it. Look, they have to make mistakes too. And, it's part of their development. And a lot of the time, there's what's called RDOs as well, which are there to help referees and help them develop. They need those to go and get the experience of actually being out there. And actually making mistakes. So yeah, be nice to the referees too. Remember, no referee, absolutely no game. And there's also been a lot of changes this season too. There's been about 8 changes to the laws. In fact, I may even pop that in the bio underneath as well, so you can see which laws have also been changed. Obviously, the biggest one is the 8-second rule. And actually, it's messaging if you got caught out with that, if you're a goalkeeper or a parent of a goalkeeper or a coach that had a goalkeeper that was holding on to the ball too much as well. Let us know if you gave any corners away from holding on to the ball too much. For me, the under-10s are great, yeah, because it's not even a rule for the under-10s, really, because as soon as they catch the ball, they kick it straight away, like whether there's someone there or not, a lot of the time, boom, it's gone within 2 or 3 seconds anyway. But I did notice a couple of the goalkeepers of the older age groups were actually counting to themselves. I could hear them counting, which was very different. And obviously, obviously they've been taking it quite serious. They know that as goalkeepers, but they're starting to do that, which is great. I think for players, like I've just mentioned there as well, for parents, don't get annoyed when the players try something different. But for players as well, don't be afraid to try things that are new. Don't be scared to sort of listen, learn, but the most important thing is just enjoy your football and enjoy playing with your friends. People always say, don't they, if you join a football team as well, you've got 11 mates for life. And I genuinely think that when you get a little bit older too. And just think every game is a chance for you to grow, develop, get better at what you're doing, all of those things. So just enjoy your football. But look, grassroots football is back. We're going to have a lot of weeks, and I would love to hear your stories. And a couple of people did also message in. Now, it always seems like it's the same locations. Now, before it was Leeds, I was getting loads of people from Leeds messaging. So I must have been posting on a group up there or something like that. But this time as well, so I've had some good messages that have come in as well. The first one is from Matt in Leicester, who said his under 12s had their best pre-season yet. Not because they won every friendly. Hope they won some, though. But because they tried new formations and gave every player equal minutes. So, yeah, absolutely love that as well. Giving everyone equal minutes and play. That's what you're supposed to be using those friendlies for. Like, if you want to go back, listen, I talked about friendlies and warm-up games in one of the episodes. Go back, take a listen to that one too. I can't remember the episode number. I'll drop it in the bio, so just take a little look there. And then also, if it's not from Leicester, it's from Nottingham. I obviously must post a lot in Nottingham groups too, although they are fairly close as well. Sarah from Nottingham told us that their son was nervous about moving to a new club, but the coach organised them a team barbecue before the season. Simple idea, made him feel welcome. Right, first off, how many teams are doing that? How many teams are having team barbecues? I'm not sure there's so many, to be honest, but great. Well done to the coach that's done that, actually putting the team together and actually building a bit of synergy, making the team bond and all the rest of it. That is great. Although, next time, send your invites in too. You've got the email address. You can get me, gofootballpod@gmail.com. But sometimes these are some of the little things that really help and change football for the season that's coming up. We want every single person that goes on the pitch. We want that includes the officials and all the players. We want the coaches to have a good season. We want the parents to enjoy watching the football, because the biggest impact in football probably isn't the Premier League. It's not watching England Andorra. I mean, come on. Or anything like that. I mean, a bit of a fact from there as well is that Andorra's population of the country is about double of what they can fill at Villa Park. I think that was the best stat that I heard all night there. So, it's not one of those games, but I think that everyone gets most impact from grassroots football because everyone's invested in it. Whether you are a parent that's just going to go and watch the kids, or whether you are a player actually stepping over, or you're a football coach who's got a love for the game that just wants to help young people and maybe some older children as well in their teens, carry on playing football. So grassroots football, it is more than just the 90 minutes that are on the pitch. It's about doing a lot of other things, keeping the kids active and healthy, giving them a place to be able to socialise with friends and make new friends too. It's not always all the friends from school all in one team. Well, that happens quite a lot, especially in the younger age groups, because the teams are generally a lot smaller. Generally, everyone knows each other a lot more. But when they start getting older, people start coming from different teams and start coming in and start finding their levels and all the rest of it. So, gives them a chance to make new friends as well, but also teach them life skills. I think grassroots football does a lot for things like teamwork and discipline and helping them being resilient and, communicating and all of the kind of life skills that we want people to have and that you want young people to also have as well. Especially they spend so much time on their phones. They spend so much time on their tablets, in front of Xboxes, in front of TVs, sending messages and on Snapchat and all those kind of things. It's nice then to be able to go out, have healthy lifestyles, be active and socialise on a face-to-face with other people. And also, they're not just socialising with people on their own team. They're against other people on the other team. So they're having to work out and having to be social with them. I'm not saying that they're going to go for drinks and having the barbecues like what Sarah Nottingham did, but definitely having to learn how to be able to communicate and, working with other people that they don't naturally see on a daily basis and might only see them twice a season or something like that. But it's very good for all of those interpersonal skills that they're going to be needing as well. So as the season kicks off, I mean, hopefully everyone had a good season. Now, please message in with your stories of week 1 and what you're expecting for week 2 of the grassroots season 25-26, because next week is also going to be about grassroots, and we're just going to call this one part 1, and we're going to have part 2 next week when we've had a little bit of time for the second game to kick off. So let us know what your stories were from week 1. Let us know what you're expecting for week 2. You can email in gofootballpod@gmail.com. So let's get to the end of this one. So let's just wrap this one up then, really, should we? I mean, a couple of thank yous that I do want to say as well is, I know the season started, but you may need some kits that are coming up. You might need some other products as well. So please head over to Rush Sportswear. They gave us all these tops as well. And I think these tops are amazing. They fit so well and they feel great, dry really quick and all the rest of it. But also big thanks to Lacey's as well for supporting. So if you do need any Lacey's products, and this includes things like bands that go over the feet. So if you were at a game this weekend and you saw shoelaces coming undone, you need to head over to Lacey's as well. The link's in the bio. When you get there, just use the code GoFootballPod. It'll give you 10% off of any of your products, no matter what you buy there too. So yeah, great to go and do that. And like I said, look, I'd love to hear your stories. If you can, hit share, follow, send this put it in your WhatsApp groups for your teams or anything like that. You'll be able to find me on TikTok, Facebook, X. You'll be able to find me on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Casterbox. We're on all of those different places, so you can just go and see us whenever you want to. So look, until next time, keep it grassroots, but also message in when we do Grassroots season 25-26, episode 2 next week.